Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MK here, back with another video. So for this one, I thought I'll discuss how I've had quite a few different ideas. Initially, I thought I actually wanted to cover my ideas for like trying to support and empower South Africa, and also, but I accidentally made the one about Central Africa, which I meant to do yesterday. But anyway, on that note, I'd love to know which one you think I should cover later. Do you think I should cover parts 2, 3, and 4 of my plans for Central Africa and the African Union, or do you think I should cover stuff for South Africa and leave the other one for tomorrow as initially planned? I'd love to know. So if I get an opinion from viewers and whatnot, it would help me to decide to make that decision. But another thing I was thinking I could have covered, because it's March, as I mentioned in part 1 of that other video, was about how I'd love to talk about the case for investing in Italian football, Italian FOOTie, soccer, calcio football, or whatever you want to call it, and that kind of thing. So I suppose those are the two main ones I thought of today. Is like my plans for South Africa initially. Then I thought, because it's March as well, which is the same month which is Italy's unification or Unity Day, as I sometimes call it. I think it's officially unification, but I suppose that's the same sort of thing. But anyway, I thought I perhaps, as it's the 23rd as well, which is a day I think of as like fundraising and that kind of thing, and also as it's the same month as St. Patrick's Day as well, I thought maybe I could cover some stuff about Celtic, which I normally think of when I think of Italian football as well. But for this one, anyway, getting to the point, sorry, try and keep it short and sweet if I can. Just typing up in the poll. So it makes me think of Australia, I think, which has a points-based system for immigration. So it's basically anyone who has a skill or talent, and where there's a shortage of those skills and talents in Australia, I think that's how it works. They do it on a points-based system, apparently. So if they've got a shortage of, say, plumbers or electricians or mechanics or doctors or whatever it might be, they offer people with those skills, which maybe not so many people in Australia can do, or where they have basically a vacancy gap or whatever you want to call it. They offer them an opportunity to migrate to Australia. So again, it's a point-based system, which may or may not be the best example, but Nigel Farage here in the UK talked about it for UKIP and said that that's what he thinks Britain should have. But I'm not that patriotic, so I'm thinking of Italian football, and which I am sort of patriotic to, but as I often mentioned, it's the only thing I support Italy for. But I was thinking, what if it's difficult because I have a unique angle of in that I only support Italy for football, in and stroke or for football. Again, FOOTie, soccer, calcio football, or whatever you want to call it. But I was thinking, what if Italy had that sort of skills and stroke or talent system, again, especially for football, in which like anyone from around the world, especially those of Italian descent, but anyone around the world from parts of Africa, Asia, Latin America, obviously Argentina, Brazil, which will have quite big Italian connections, America perhaps even, if I mention America, Canada, or anywhere in the world, basically Australia, and I think could play for Italy. And I think that Italy kind of has already utilised people with Italian, Brazilian, or Italian, Brazilian, or Italian Argentinian descent, basically those of Italian descent from those nations. Christian Vieri grew up in Australia and he played for Italy. So I wonder if Italy could utilise that system, and I mean, part of me does think, like even when I was discussing that, I was thinking in the back of my head, as I say, maybe the people from Brazil or Argentina would be sort of second rate if in the past, because if they got them from Argentina or Brazil, they probably were the ones who couldn't qualify for Argentina or Brazil or whatever. But maybe if there's some sort of incentive, I don't know if it could be financial or it could be historic pride in your ancestry, or whatever other thing could be that could help people to migrate to Italy for the purpose of playing footy, soccer, calcio, football, or whatever you call it, I'd say. So yeah, I wonder if it could work and how it could work. And as a fan of Italian soccer, shall we call it, I would love to see Italian footy, football, or whatever, as I say, whatever you want to call it, become the number one. And I'd love to see it. And I think one way that could happen is to attract the best possible skills and talents. So anyone with an ability to contribute to Italian footy, I think should be welcomed, and perhaps have visas or even passports or whatever, be able to have dual nationality, especially those of Italian descent. Maybe that's another group that Italy could utilise. And I often talk about like how migration to Italy should be priority should be given to those who come in legally, those possibly of Italian descent, those with a skill or talent for football, and core, basically those who can benefit Italian football, and core, those who are from former colonies of Italy, like Ethiopia, Tunisia, Eritrea, or places like that. But I'd love to know what people think. I hope people won't be too harsh. I know somebody, I was posting on the Italian football official channel for the national team, and they someone was saying that they would rather actually have a rubbish team and have all African players, or players of African descent, rather, if you like, or as they put it, African players. I thought that's really bitter and petty to actually rather have a rubbish team than have a team like France, which does well. And I suppose it does show that many people in Europe don't see POC, people of colour, as being, even people in England often say like the players who are black actually are African or come from Africa, or they can't be English, although some people do think that they are British because they were born here, or even English or whatever. But I'd love to know what people think. I hope that sort of makes sense, but I wonder if Italy could attract the best possible talent. I suppose it doesn't have the best economy compared to, say, America or elsewhere, which could, I suppose, copy the idea. So it's a difficult one to see what if they could offer, especially with the size of the economy. But yeah, I'd love to know what people think. So yeah, I tried just posting in the Q&A, but probably a bit late for me to do that, but I wasn't organised enough to do that initially, but I forgot to do it. But yeah, please let me know what you think about my incoherent ramble, perhaps. But yeah, what do you think about, basically, to put it simply, what do you think about Italy having that opportunity to offer migration status for those, especially who are good at footy, who can contribute to the national team, if the Italian FA, the FIGC, and Serie A, and all those involved in Italian football, even the lower league, Serie C, and grassroots football, and even possibly schools and the councils and whatever, worked with the government, politicians, generally even rival politicians, and that kind of thing, come together on this issue. As I talked before about on Italy's Unification Day, I talked about like Italians uniting together over football. I can't remember if I mentioned, for once I'm drinking water, so trying to be a good example and get healthy. Apparently it's very good for losing weight because it keeps you full or something like that. But as I say, I'd love to know what you think. How could Italy produce the best possible players as well? How could they produce the best possible players, as in like give them opportunities? What could Italy do to have like, I think like spaces and places for sport, in this case football, and Italians practicing for at least an hour a day, and as many hours a day as possible, 365 days. Yes, obviously 7 days a week and whatnot. So even practicing on birthdays, Christmases and things like that, and encouraging football to be played at school, and playing for as many hours as possible each day. And maybe in the future, on Italy's Unification Day, they can invite people from the diaspora, maybe, and things like that, and have events that benefit Italian soccer, or again, whatever you want to call it. And I'd love to know on that note, what do you think, any ideas that can benefit Italian football? I'd love to see them have Italy's own version of Le Fontaine, La Masia, and St George's Park and things like that. But anyway, I'll wrap this up. It has gone on a bit longer than planned, but Peace and love. I'm out.